We are back on here with another reaction style video, and this was tagged to me on Twitter, and shout out to the person that tagged me in it. And I have a feeling I already know what this video is going to be about. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I have not watched this video at all, but I think it's going to touch on something I wanted to talk about, and this is just going to be a good segue point for me to talk about it. This is something I've seen several other people who are attached to the New Black Media talk about it as well. And I guess now this is my chance to throw my hat in the ring, even though I've kind of touched on it a little bit. So, like I said, I'm only going based off of the caption that's at the top of the video, where it says the tension between the Black and Latino community needs to end. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where she's going to get on here and say that there needs to stop being so much issues going on with us, because what's going on and affecting one of us is going to affect all of us. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, you can keep saying that until you're blue in the face, but that's still not going to get me, at the very least, and I can only speak for myself, to get up off my ass and go out there and fight for your cause. But let's see what she's talking about on here. The video is 2 minutes and 29 seconds long. Of course, with it being a reaction style video, it's going to be slightly longer than that.
The tension between the Black and Latino community needs to stop. And we need to be the generation to stop it.
Where is this? Why is it we? Why do we have to stop anything? We weren't even the cause. See, she's already off to the wrong foot. And I've noticed that whenever I do these reaction style videos, within the first 10 seconds, they always say some BS. Why is it we have to stop anything? We don't be bringing beef to nobody. We just be trying to mind our business, and everybody tries to shoehorn us into their issues while we got our stuff going on in the background. When we needed help, where was everybody else? We was out there by ourselves. As a matter of fact, slightly off topic, I was looking at a live stream that Lisa Cabrera did when they were doing that No Kings protest thing. And when I tell you that it was so dry and unseasoned, and I'm not saying because of the people, but I'm listening to them chant, they didn't sound like they had no power or conviction in their voice that could be taken seriously. They sounded like they just stepped onto the set and heard the director yell action on an episode of The Walking Dead. They sounded like straight up zombies. It was absolutely pathetic. Now, at least when Black people are doing their thing, we have a little bit more power behind our voice. And something I notice is because that's the power of an oppressed people. So that's why there's so much power there. When you're not oppressed, that you can afford to sound dry like that, because you don't know what it is, even though you claim you do.
Anti-Blackness exists in our community. We know this. Anti-Blackness also exists within the Black community itself.
Of course, she had this is what she did, the double thing, where she first acknowledges that there's anti-Blackness going on in her community. Then she comes right back around and says, but we have to acknowledge that there's anti-Blackness going on within the Black community. The thing is, she couldn't hold a community accountable just on that strength alone. She had to throw Black people in there as well. Already 17 seconds in, and I'm annoyed.
All communities of color struggle with this.
There's the of color stuff. I keep telling people, when they start doing that people of color stuff, and they try to lump Black people into it, they already lost the plot.
And the reason why is what we all have in common. We were all colonized and trained to have a mindset of you versus me for survival. But that ends with us. We need to lead with unity and not division.
And that's another thing, and I'm sure many of you have already seen this by now, but I have never seen the word unity be used so much in the span of like a week. Like it's like ever since everything has been going on in LA, that's when the whole unity thing wants to kick up. But Black people have been dealing with anti-Blackness and white supremacy and oppression for decades, even before people like her people got here. And we were dealing with it. We are fighting two different battles on two different sides of the battlefield. Shoot, we're not even fighting the same. Like I said, we're not fighting the same battle. That's the point. That's the point that I'm making. So that's why I said we cannot afford to put ourselves in their stuff. They have to fight their own. They have to fight on their own 2 feet. I made a post on Twitter where I was saying, in so many words, I'm loving and I'm just paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what I said, that I'm just loving this moment right now with me being as an FBA man, just having my feet kicked up and just watching stuff unfold and letting everyone fight their own battles for once. Now, of course, there's going to be some out there, and some of you have seen it, that are going to try to go out there and fight along with them. I say let them go ahead, and if something happens to them, hey, you can't say they weren't warned. But as for me, and I'm speaking for myself, I'm not going out there with them. They can do and fight their own battles without me. They do not need me. So this thing of calling for unity and we need to stop doing the division thing, your little Jedi mind trick is a failed one. It's not going to work on me, and I have a feeling it's not going to work on many other people as well.
We have to be the change we want to see. We have to stop pointing the finger in both communities and make the decision that we are going to choose to be united versus divided.
I want y'all to understand something too. Notice that ever since everything that's really popped off in LA, that black people really aren't pushing that black and brown thing. If they were, they aren't pushing it as much anymore. Not saying every last black person isn't, but not as heavy as it once was. And now you're noticing people from the Latino community are the ones that's pushing it a lot. I mean, heavy. And it's not because they genuinely wanted to be something, like they wanted to be a genuine thing. It's because they are fighting a losing battle and they can't win without us. Well, guess what? Black people have lost many battles and still managed to rise from the ashes like the phoenix. So now this is your rising from the ashes moment. This is how you know we are on two different ends of the spectrum. That's why when, not saying any other community, well, we'll just talk about them. Not saying that the Latino community hasn't been oppressed, because I'm very sure that they have. But, however, we as in FBA are dealing with a different type of enemy here. And let's hypothetically say they're dealing with the same enemy. You're going to have to battle that enemy your way, just like we're battling it our way and have been for so long. And what's sad and what's crazy is, when they don't get their way, and I'm talking about her community, then that's when they really spiral out of control and they show their true colors, as many of them have over the years and still are continuing to do to this day. I mean, there's plenty of examples from the past and the present, and most likely even the future.
I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers, but here are examples of how you can show up differently and be the change you want to see. Number one, share stories of solidarity. Share stories of love. Share stories of when you have experienced the Black or Latino community showing up in your spaces. We need to shift the narrative. Number two, if your reality is division between the Black and Latino community and your goal is unity, then it is up to you to seek out examples of when the Latino and Black communities show up for one another.
Here's the thing. Again, she's constantly using the word unity. She's using it a lot, like quite a bit, way more than I expected her to do it. But then I'm not surprised that she is. She keeps trying to think that there's going to be some kind of Black and Latino, or they call it the Black and brown utopian thing. Again, a lot of them were not talking like this before what was going on out there in LA, or before what Trump was doing or trying to do or not do, or whatever the case may be. They weren't talking like this. Shoot, even when Black people were talking like this, they were the ones, some of them, maybe not all of them, were against it. So now they want to do this unity thing, this Black and brown thing, because they are getting their asses handed to them. Now they want to call on solidarity. Now they want to throw out the bat signal in hopes that we're going to come and rescue them. No, we're not doing that. Then they want to get out there and say, well, when Black Lives Matter, when they out there marching, we was out there, going back to the video that I recently did. We didn't ask for you to go out there and march with Black people during all of that. You volunteered to go out there and march with them. You were not forced to do it. You volunteered. No one told you that you had to do it. You made up in your mind that I'm going to go out there and do that. And you thought, oh, Well, since they showed up for me, they're gonna, since I showed up for them, they're gonna show up for me. Nah, that's not how that works. Again, you chose to go out there. You were not forced to be out there. Just like we are not going to be strongholded into being on your front line. That way we end up catching the slings and arrows. I saw a video, I think, I forgot who posted it. It was this black woman, I guess that she was supposed to be out there on the quote unquote front lines with them. In that video, that cop got a hold of her and threw her on the ground. The black woman stood out like a sore thumb with that bright dress she had on, that bright multicolored dress she had on. And something based on the description, some of y'all know exactly what video I'm talking about. Again, she was warned, but she decided, hey, I'm gonna go out there, and what happened? She got hands pulled on her by them cops. And now that's just one person. Imagine if several black people went out there. It would be chaos.
Where they show love, where there is actual solidarity, because guess what? It exists. And if you need a place to start with me. I am happy to be a part of your network of Latinos who have nothing but love for our Black sisters and brothers. Number 3, ask your neighbors how you can be helpful. You need to lead with your heart in this moment. That is the only way that we are going to experience an actual shift. We have to show up as human beings. We have to show up vulnerable. We have to show up as the change that we want to see. Lastly, ask others to join you. Let's actually start in the comments. Share your stories of solidarity and love. If members of the Latino and Black community have a hard time seeing it, let's show them how it's actually done.
And that's another thing right there. This comes off, and the thing is, maybe, you know what, her heart could very well be in the right place. I don't know this woman. She could be very genuine with her words, but at the end of the day, this is what I have to say to her, genuine or not. Too little, too late. Let me say it again. Too little, too late. The hand has been shown. The cards have been dealt. Everything is out on the table. We are not, and that's when I say we, let me just say me, I will not be fooled. Because what's to say that something goes wrong or something doesn't go your way? Then what's going to end up happening? That so-called unity and solidarity, it's going out the window. And it's crazy how, and I don't know why I didn't catch this, but I'll bring it up now. When she was talking, at the beginning of the video, she was talking about there's anti-blackness in the Black community. Well, young lady, I think it says her name is, her TikTok name is I Am Victoria Jenbo. Victoria, I got a question for you. You brought up so-called anti-blackness in the Black community while simultaneously, I don't know where you live, but let's hypothetically say you don't live in any Black community. Not saying she doesn't know Black people, but let's talk about the anti-Latino hate within your community from people in your diaspora. And let's not sit here and pretend like that does not exist. See, I find it interesting that her as a Latina woman, and I noticed she has the Puerto Rican flag behind her, so I'm guessing she's Puerto Rican, and she has on an NY hat, so she's probably from New York, that they can sit up there and talk about the anti-blackness going on in our community. She might as well just came right out and said in black on black crime, but she doesn't talk about the degenerate behavior that goes on within her community amongst her people, but want to sit there and point the finger. At that point, everything that she said after this was null and void. I just had to spin the block right quick before the end of her video, just in case, because I might have forgotten.
I stand with my Black brothers and sisters, and I also stand with my Latino familia.
Well, here's the thing. She says she stands with her Black brothers and sisters, and she also stands with her Latino familia, her Latino family. Again, let's say that your Black brothers and sisters do something that your Latino family doesn't like, and they tell you to choose a side. What side are you choosing? And you saying that I can't choose, that's not an option. I thought you were standing with both of them. You have to choose. Because one of them, or maybe both, might do something to piss you off. Or one of them might do something to piss the other group off. Who you going to stand with? See, this whole thing of them wanting to unify and do all this, that, and the third, that's fine in theory, but on paper, it's not working, and it never has. At this point, it's nothing more than a pipe dream. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it here. There's nothing wrong if you want to, be friends or anything like that. But when it comes to taking care and handling business as far as politics and getting policies done for our group, there's no involvement from you there. Just like when there's politics and policies going on within your group, we will not interfere. Just like there's stuff going on in LA dealing with your group right now, we won't interfere. So don't ask us to do so now. Just like you volunteered to march with BLM, we're volunteering not to stand and march with you with the issues you got going on. Because we already know how the story ends. Shoot, we've seen how it ends when it's just black people out there doing their thing. Now you want to have us be on the front lines for your cause, and then we get hit upside the head again? No. Like how we came together and did what we did for Carmelo Anthony. See, they see that fire right there. They see that spirit, and they want to feed off of that energy because they've never had to do it. Now, in my lifetime, this is probably the first time I've ever seen something like this go the way it has out there in LA, or just period. Maybe there's been other times I might have been paying attention, but this is the first time I've really seen something like this happen. This is your fight. That's really all it boils down to. And that's really all us as FBA have been trying to tell people. We have to fight our fight at the end of the day. You have to fight yours. We cannot, it's a conflict if we try to fight each other's battles. It's just not going to work. The lesson here is you have to pick up your own shield and sword and go in to fight your own battles. We cannot do it for you, and we cannot do it with you. At the end of the day, we tried. Can't say we didn't try at one point in time, but history has shown, and there's a lot of history there, that we're going to have to do this on our own. And you're going to have to do whatever it is you have to do on your own.
But the change, it starts with us. I love you.
Okay, so that's the end of the video right there. So, yeah. She made a new little cute video, or whatever. But at the end of the day, we still got to do our own thing. That's really all it boils down to. We're going to do our thing, and you're going to do yours. Now, there's one last thing that I did want to show you as it pertains to this. Well, it's not necessarily with this video, but it's a comment that somebody ended up leaving under a post that I made that actually fits perfectly with this video. This person left a comment right here under the post that I was telling you about somewhere at one point in the video. And they said, I hope you also realize when it's our turn, we don't have the numbers without allies. I'm sitting here saying to myself, they're talking about our turn. I'm like, who in the world is our? I'm looking at their name. I'm looking at their profile picture. And then I went to their page looked at their to see what their following was like, because I already knew it was probably some type of a troll. And it looks like this person might have created this account probably within the last few months to a year or so. It's one of those type of accounts. But I thought this was very interesting because this is another talking point they try to use on us. The guilt talk of saying, we need to unify, or, when they're done with them, we're next. I'm like, listen, we have been first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th to infinity and beyond. We already know how this drill goes. This is how you know these groups that claim to be so called oppressed never knew what true oppression was. We know what it is. That's why we're not fighting your battles, because we already know the outcome. We know how everything goes down. Y'all have seen what has gone on with our people from afar. And many times y'all have seen it and never wanted to jump in because you knew what would happen if you did. Now you are the face of what's going on out there, and you want us to hop in there so we end up catching the beat down? Oh no. You must have thought we were born last night. You must think, and I'm gonna use a throwback term right quick. You must think we boo-boo the fool. That's not how at all this is going down. So you can use the guilt trip talk. You can do the whole, oh, we need to unify talk. Y'all can do all the Jedi mind trick, all of that. But that's still not going to be enough, nearly enough for me. And I'm sure many other people to go out there and basically sacrifice ourselves. That's what you want us to be. You want us to lead ourselves to slaughter and sacrifice ourselves for your cause that we don't benefit from. You must be out your mind. We don't get nothing out of that. Nothing. And you want us to go, man, if y'all don't go sit down somewhere with this nonsense.